Welcome to another video from the Brewing HQ, and this time I'm bottling the milk stout that I made in one of the previous videos. Now this particular carboy looks quite dirty. That's because I had a blowout. The previous video to this goes over the blowout, but yeah, today I'll be bottling this. It's a kind of a small batch brew, so it's about 9 litres, so I'm hoping to get maybe 15 or so bottles. Which is probably enough. I tend not to drink the 40 bottles that will come in a standard batch. I give a lot away, so small batches kind of suit me a bit better. Now the problem with this particular carboy, and all carboys, well most carboys, is it doesn't have a tap. So it makes bottling a bit tricky. You have to use a siphon. I would always recommend that you get a fermenter with a tap, particularly for beginners, because it just makes it a little bit easier to bottle. And particularly if you're bottling on your own, a tap is very handy because you don't have to hold the siphon and bottle with your other hand, which can be a bit awkward. Or keep an eye on a siphon with a clip and bottle with your own hand. But anyway, I'll go through a bit of the equipment and the stuff. Let me grab that. So, this is the beer. That's the effect of the blowout, unfortunately. I was able to remove the blowout tubing and put the standard airlock back. If you look down at the bottom here, I don't know if you can see that the majority of the yeast has flocculated down to the bottom, which is good. Flocculation is an attribute of yeast where it kind of clumps together and settles. So when I'm bottling, I want to try and not suck that up and try not to disturb it so that it goes back up into suspension. So step one is going to be cleaning my bottles. Here's my bottles. I have 17 there. I'll probably use about 15, but we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't recommend putting these bottles in the dishwasher, as you just won't get into them. Now I have cleaned these bottles last time I used them, but I always clean them again. So that'll be step one. In terms of the equipment I'm going to be using, Starsan is a no rinse sanitizer. I always use it. It's pretty handy. Obviously I need a bottle brush. This is my auto siphon, and it's got a clip there. Hopefully that clip will keep it steady. Obviously a bit of tubing. I've got a bottling wand here. This is my sample jar, so I can take a hydrometer reading and have a little sip to see what it tastes like. My hydrometer is here. I can't use a refractometer this time around because alcohol impacts the reading, so I'm going to use a hydrometer instead of a refractometer. And if you saw my brew day video, we used a refractometer for pre-fermentation reading, gravity reading. This is carbonation drops. Much prefer carbonation drops to priming sugar. I just find it a hell of a lot handier. And this is just going to be an all, squeezy bottle with a bit of sanitizer in it for just on-demand sanitization. So that's pretty much it. We'll get to step one, which is washing and sanitizing now. So here we are at step one, which is bottling. It's like washing your dishes, I imagine. Some washing up liquid. The hot water. Cool it down a bit so I can stick my hand in. And your bottling wand, bottle brush. So all your bottles are going to need a good scrub. I always look through them to make sure that they're not like completely caked with stuff. And there was one bottle there that was quite dirty, so I'll probably just use something else. But submerge it, get a bit of water in there, give it a good shake, get the bottle brush right in there, and give it a good give it a good scrub. Now you have to kind of make sure that you get everywhere, because the last thing you want is some dirt or some bacteria or something that will contaminate the brew in this bottle, and then whoever drinks it will get a nasty shock. So make sure your water is nice and hot. Use some kind of detergent to clean it off. And of course, if you do it at a window, because you'll be able to look through it and see how clean it looks. So, do that for pretty much all the bottles required for your bottling. So that's the washing of the bottles done, although now I need to rinse them to get rid of the suds inside. While I have the hot soapy water here in front of me, I tend to take this opportunity to just give the siphon and the bottling wand a bit of a wash. And it's very easy to do. It's just add the tubing to the siphon, put it in, and just pump it a few times to get it going, you know. This is an auto siphon, and I can see while I'm pumping it there that, you see here, it's coming out this end, you know. So that's just flushing warm sudsy water through it. Now obviously I'm going to flush sanitizer through this to rinse it, but it's just a way of making sure that everything's clean. Again, with the bottling wand, the goal obviously is to ensure that nothing bad ends up in the bottle that I don't want it to. So, welcome to step 2 of the process. Step 2 is rinsing the suds out of the bottles. And I don't know if you can see that in the bottle. Let me have a look. There's a lot of bubbles and stuff. All that needs to be rinsed out. So, again, there's probably no easy way of doing this other than just getting a bit of water in there and washing it out. Now, I'm using cold water this time. And this needs to be done for all your bottles. Now, one thing I always do when I'm rinsing is it gives you an opportunity to check the bottle. So I'm standing beside the mirror here and I can look through it and make sure there's no, dried in sediment from the previous brew. I can do it here. So there's no dried in sediment in the previous brew. There's no cracks or whatnot, So maybe if I take the camera and put it up against the window there so I can see it. So that looks pretty clean to me. Make sure I put this back right now. That'll be do. So on 2 of the bottles so far, I found one has got no swing top. So that needs to be put aside. And this bottle has, let me see if I can get this again. I don't know if you can see that right, but it's kind of got dried in sediment from a previous brew on the bottom. On the bottom, you can probably see it there a little bit. So again, even after washing, that didn't come out so well. So again, that gets put aside. So rinse all your bottles. Make sure the suds is thoroughly out. Check them for integrity. The swing top looks okay. There's no cracks. There's no dried in sediment from the previous brew. It all looks good. Put it aside, you're done. And do that for all your bottles. So the next step is sanitization. All my bottles have been cleaned, they've been rinsed of all the suds. So now I need to make up a batch of sanitizer, make sure the bottles are sanitized. So I always use Star San. It's a no rinse sanitizer, and the ratio I tend to use is 5 milliliters of Star San for every 3 liters of water. Now, it is graduated, and the side is graduated in fluid ounces here, so I know that I need 25 milliliters of Star San, and that works out at about 0.84 fluid ounces. So I'll take it off here. That's half fluid ounce. that's probably about it. You don't have to put Starsan in hot water. In fact, I've read that cold water is better. I make it not too cold so I can put my hands in it without being frozen. So stir it up and you get it kind of goes white, you know. Let me just show you real quick. Ta-da! It goes white. So what do? I get my bottles and I simply submerge them in the liquid. Why not do two at a time? So I'm not really interested in sanitizing the outside, it's the inside of course. So sanitizer in there, give it a good shake, and I seal the bottles. So here's another one, got some sanitizer in it, give it a good shake, and I seal the bottles. And I actually leave the sanitizer in there for a while. I'll probably not empty that sanitizer until I'm ready to bottle, which will be as soon as I get through sanitizing all of these bottles. And I'll give these a couple of shakes as we go, just to make sure that their sanitizer is in contact with the surfaces for long enough. And I'll do that with all my bottles. And I'll see you at the next step. So at this point all my bottles have been sanitized. They've all got a bit of sanitizer in them. I'll give them a couple of shakes as we go. Next is to sanitize the equipment. And again, like rinsing it, I set my siphon up. And I'll give it a few pumps to just run the sanitizing liquid through. So if I take that out there, there's sanitizer in that now. That will sanitize the inside of the siphon. Don't forget to do your bottling wand as well. The bottling wand has a spring action at the bottom here, so when I press it, it'll come out. But at this point, anything that touches the beer is going to need to be sanitized. So that's the siphon, the bottling wand, the bottles. Okay, on to the next step. So this is what my bottling setup typically looks like. I have a stool on a towel here because there will be a bit of spillage. So I have a stool. I sit on the stool. I have my carboy there. I'll attach the siphon in that in a minute. I have my bottles here. They've been sanitized, and I found that if you do have a bottle with an excessive amount of bubbles in it, because you've shaken it a lot with sanitization, if you just slowly pour in a bit more sanitized liquid to kind of rinse out the bubbles, that'll work. It's okay for there to be a little bit of bubbles in the bottom because it is a no-rinse sanitizer. So bottle's an easy reach. I have a drip bucket here, just so I can collect any mess, and I have my carbonation drops here handy, so I can take a bottle, take a carbonation drop, put it in, and then start bottling, and hopefully not create a mess. So I'll add the siphon now. We start? Grand. Okay, so I'm ready to add the siphon. This is an auto siphon, which you pump to get the flow going. Obviously my fermenter needs to be higher than where my bottle is going to be because it's gravity based. So once it gets going, it keeps going. Really important part of this siphon is the clip. The clip to keep it in there. Without the clip, this becomes a bit of a pain in the arse. So I'm going to put this in, put it down to about there, pump it a couple of times to get it going, and hopefully it'll stay in place. Now one thing you got to make sure is, make sure that it's nice and tight there, because and when you're pumping it initially, just open the valve on the bottling wand, because I've seen this tube fly off here a couple of times and that'll make a massive big mess. So I'll take my airlock off. Oh, I don't want to disturb that too much, so let me just put that down there. I'll take the airlock off. It's quite gicky, it's from the blow off. Now, I need to get this right, so it's going to be about there, so that means my clip is going to be about there, right? So insert my wand in and clip it on. Now, unfortunately, I can't see how far down it is because of the mess from the blowout, but I probably want that clipped a bit tighter. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to live with that. So again, open it. So I put my finger on here, open it, and I need to pump it a few times. So this is where I have my bucket down below. Let's get this going. There it's going. It smells good. So, the first thing I do is I want to take a sample from my gravity reading. So it's simply just put the wand in and press it down, and it should fill. Like so. Now I'm going to put this aside for my gravity reading, and so I can have a little taste later. At this point I am ready to bottle. Now I need to keep make sure that the siphon stays under the amount I want. So I put it in. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. Each bottle gets a carbonation drop. In it goes. Press it down, that should fill up the bottle. Come on. There we go. That's one. Oops. One bottle done. Next bottle, make sure all the sanitizer is out of it. Put in a carbonation drop. Just have a look at the level of my siphon there. I want to keep it under the liquid, and then just push down. And there we are. That's filled that up to about there roughly, which is a good amount. Now, at this point, because I've gone down about 2 inches, I'm just going to make sure that my siphon stays under the liquid. So I'm just going to push it down by about 1 inch. Again, I'm trying not to disturb the sediment at the bottom. And I take another bottle, and I do exactly the same thing. Carbonation drop in. Oh, I probably should have made sure that the excess sanitization was out of it. So again, push it down. God, this smells lovely actually. I can't wait to try it. There it is. Just make sure actually you turn them so the carbonation doesn't stick to the bottom. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to do this for all the bottles, making sure that the siphon is always under the liquid, and I'll talk to you when I'm done. Thanks. So bottling is complete, and I got 13 bottles of stout, which is probably less than what I wanted, but yeah, I'm happy enough. Now these bottles will need to be rinsed just to make sure that they're not sticky. So next step is to rinse the bottles and take a hydrometer reading. Now I took a sample earlier. Here's the hydrometer. It's been sitting in there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm about 1.025 thereabouts. So I'll stick. I did take a pre-fermentation gravity reading, so I'll work out what the alcohol is and I'll stick it in the video. This is what's left of the carboy. Obviously, I didn't want to suck up all that crud at the end, but I think I got a good amount of beer out of it. It's going to be a significant cleaning challenge now, because it's pretty dirty. If you look in my slop bucket down here, this is why I always have one, because there definitely is spillage. The only thing to do left now is have a little taste. It's pretty good. It's not particularly sweet. It does taste strong. So I wonder what the alcohol is. I'm not getting a whole lot of chocolate from the chocolate malt, but we'll see how bottle conditioning does. So that's pretty much it. Store these in a warm, safe place now for about 2 weeks, and then somewhere colder maybe for another 2 weeks, and then I'll try. Just all that's left to do is clean up. Thanks.